Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun. Good morning, everybody. Well, first of all, I love this microphone so much. It's just like standing in front of this just makes me feel good. I'm so happy that I was able to figure this out. Now, bad news. Our data feed is down. Yeah. So I did put in new funds into my account, but apparently they did not receive them fast enough. And then when the month flipped over, I'm coughing. I must have the coronavirus. No, I think I'm okay. Anyways, then when the month flipped over, they it's not letting me connect. So we're gonna have to get a new data feed today. Well, let's look around. Let's see what we can do. We can have fun with this. They received the funds, but they received them like 2 days ago. What was it? Yeah, they received them on the 30th. So, and they put a hold for 5 days, so we might not be back in business until the 6th. By the way, April Fool's Day free zone. I'm not. It's a serious time and serious, yeah. Hey, Win, how are you? Well, this will maybe be a good one for you because you could see where some good places to get some demo accounts are, huh? The problem is I've gotten demos like everywhere, but I'm wondering, DTN IQFeed, do they have a demo for that? Like, I would really like to try that. Fast, reliable, most professional market data in the world. Need a feed for traders. Let's try it. Get a free trial now. Oh, they do have one. Okay. Professional by taking historical market data with access to stocks, futures, and options, plus real-time streaming news and compatibility with most industry-leading third-party software packages. I think that's what we want. Who did you know? I don't recall. We'll try it. If you have tried DTN IQFeed in the past, you'll need to enter your old login ID and password during the registration process if you don't recall. Okay, well, I've never done that. I've never tried DTN before, so we're going to try it. Let's try the DTN. We'll try the best one. Okay. Do you use market data solely for your personal non-business news? Yes. Yeah, I don't think that we qualify as a professional at the moment. Are you currently registered or qualified? No. Pretty sure no. Are you qualified with any securities agency exchange? No. Do you perform any functions that are similar to those that require an individual to register to qualify with the SEC, CFTC, or any other? I mean, I wish. Are you engaged to provide investment advice? No. Are you engaged as an investment advisor? I should, you know what? I'm reading through all of these and I'm like, I should do that. Maybe now would be a good time to do it. You know what? Oh, here, I got all of my gym equipment yesterday. So we unboxed it. My brother came over and we lifted and it was great. And by the time I was done lifting, that was like when I would be like getting started normally. So I got done, I ate, and I watched StarCraft. and it was great. So like we have some time in the evening now. And I think that we should make use of it, and maybe doing one of these certifications would be something that would be smart to do. I'm not quite sure which one I should do. Should I become a certified investment advisor? Which one is, but that might be hard to do. I don't know. I have to look into it. Maybe we'll look into that a little bit today. Are you subscribing to the service in your capacity as a principal? Nope. Do you receive market data for your business or any other entity? Do you use the capital of any other individual? No. Are you employed by an organized conducting professional activities? Do you conduct trading for the benefit of a corporation? No. Let's restart this thing here. The grim equipment arrived, and wow, you look jacked up. I know. I did my bicep. No, it's. I look at my bicep is so pathetic. Oh my gosh, there's a little bit of definition there. It feels like it looks terrible, but it feels like so jacked right now. I don't know if I got it very well because I feel it right here, not like up here. So probably I need to isolate it better. Did you carefully wipe down the equipment? No, I did not. I was wondering that because the weights kind of have like I don't know, kind of like a greasy film sort of stuff on it, and I'm wondering if like I need to wipe that off or not. And that's another thing I need to research. No. Have you entered into any agreement to share the profit of your trading activities? No. Are you receiving office space and equipment or other benefits in exchange for your work? No. Is your account either billed or contracted under a business organization? No. I've read and answered the questions. Yeah.
Winston's mom says your arms are really good looking arms, no kidding. Nice strong arms and they are muscular. My son has intellectual arms, lol. Not muscular but he did get to his black belt test in Kook Sol 1.
So I'm hoping that it's supposed to give me a trial, right? Is it going to make me base fee, initial fee $50 charged with first month if you subscribe? And yeah, they're asking me which ones that I want. But what we really want is this. Oh, it won't let me. It doesn't give me the click on it. Market depth and other popular items. There you go. CBOT market profile.
Winston's mom says usually with a free trial, you still have to give them a credit card, right?
I don't. Well, no, actually, no. Certainly not with CQG. We could try a CQG demo, but the last time I tried a CQG demo, they were like, "You've done too many." That first year, I was like re-signing up over and over and over again. I will just say I agree. Futures entitlement. Additional symbols. Premium news and analysis. Oh, look at that. That sounds good. Glowbacks data for non-professionals. Non-professional fees for this data may be available to customers who qualify. To receive this data during your trial, you must add the full CME group exchange by selecting them individually from the domestic futures data category above. Oh, right here. That's what we want. Okay. So CBOE, CBOT, CME. Interesting. So this one that I added down here, maybe you don't actually need that one. See, I certainly not NYMEX, probably not. But those ones, but why is there, do you need US, RT-US futures entitlement required? And then CBOT and CME is, wow. So how much does this end up being in the end? Well, core, futures exchange, futures entitlement, CBOT, and CME. I don't know. Well, let's just see what it does. Let's just see what it does. Net fee. Cool. Oh my gosh, it's gonna make me put on a credit card, isn't it? Oh, maybe not. Oh, I forgot. I'm not even showing you guys the screen. We're good. We're good. I'm like, I can't let people see my phone number. We're good. New user registration. Cool. This will be fun so we'll see how long does it take them to call me? Because usually when you sign up for these things, they will call you. Okay. Okay. Continue sign up. Yep, now it's asking me for a card.
Winston's mom says it's a good idea not to show your phone number. You're safe from me. I really don't like making phone calls.
And then I have to go up and find my card and everything. Wait, what are my choices anyways?
Dan H says lol.
Right. I'd have to, it wants me to insert a card. I'm not sure if I want to do that or not. I think we should be fine. I mean, we're not gonna. You just have to go use it for the next 3 days. So I'm wondering if I go here to the manual. Supported. No, that's not it. Connections. Okay. CQG, Gain Capital, IQFeed, MetaTrader, NinjaTrader, 8, Rhythmic. Oh, you know what? It's Wednesday. What about what was these guys? I wonder if they have something. Let's see. These edge clear guys. Oh, 1 day too early. Well, we can do them tomorrow if they offer one. We'll see. All right. I'll go get it. Hold on a second. This is so dumb. I feel so dumb. Okay.
Winston's mom says good morning, Dan H. And how are things in your world? Has this virus impacted your life?
All right. Next time, I should just do the wire transfer. It would have been here a month ago. Okay. Okay, now when I signed up, it says, during your trial period, you will be charged for exchanges or services that don't offer a trial. But when I had it set up, none of those, it said that it wasn't going to charge me for anything. So I don't think that I selected anything of that nature, right? Must be accepted. Okay, these are the data feed things. I agree. Okay. Yeah,
Winston's mom
right
says,
here.
which site are you on? Again? I want to look at their page while you go over the steps of signing up.
I am on DTN. Is it just DTN.com? Yes. No, it was IQFeed.net is who we were trying.
Winston's mom says Delta Tango November.
IQFeed.net is who we were trying.
Speculator Seth says IQFeed.net.
Okay, so anyways, back to here. All right, here we go. So it shows me core service, futures exchange, a U.S. futures entitlement, CBOT, and CME. CBOT is how we trade the indexes. So like the CME is actually like everything combined together. But the CBOT is the interest rate stuff in particular. So I think we need both of those. Amount charged. Do the credit card today. 0. Okay. So I think we're safe. Don't want to be charged $100 today for data.
Dan H says just staying home and trading. Trying to learn this jigsaw.
Oh yeah. Okay. So did you bought it, right? Or were you the guy that I spoke to a couple of days ago that got started on Jigsaw? Okay. Your order has been completed and your ID has been sent to your email address, okay? gmail.com.
Dan H says I have had it for a month or two.
Oh, okay. You had it for a month or two. Cool. Yeah, I tell you what, I'm just really frustrated with this because what happened to me was first, well, so it was really a double whammy. The first one was I was doing really good from August until I don't want it, like maybe November or so. And then the trade deal came through and Brexit happened. Wasn't Brexit happened, but like they decided that they were going to do it, and it was happening like now, right? And
Winston's mom says Dr. Mandel, the motivational doc, the one I keep mentioning to you, has uploaded a video that gives you a recipe for immune boosting tea. I like his tea recipes. Probably ginger and turmeric will include it.
I hate tea though. I tried that one time. Remember, were you here that day where I was like, I tried tea? It's like gross flavored water. Anyways, so when that market came along, it was like really volatile, and I was dumb and I tried trading it. That was really the long and short of it. And so then I didn't blow the account, but I just traded much smaller. And I was doing okay, but I didn't completely have my strategy figured out. And then this latest market volatility came along. And it's really dumb because there were periods where I was short. I literally could have just taken it short and held it, and made like $1,000. And I didn't do it. And then the market went really crazy, and I just took like 5 short trades and badoosh. So that's okay because I don't put all of my funds into the thing, into my broker. So I had some immediately available. So I send it in
Winston's
with a
mom says
check.
I was here and you were like a little kid trying his mom's tea. It's like anything, add sugar or chocolate, play with the tea.
Yeah.
It is very, very good for you. Especially
I
green
I
tea,
I
no
put
caffeine.
honey in it. I put honey in it. Anyways, so I sent them a check, and the first check got returned back to me because they couldn't read the address on it. So I sent it again after like 2 or 3 weeks, and they received it 2 days ago. But they have a holding policy for 5 days on all checks. So we they that are my regular account won't be going until Monday. So I'm all just like, ugh. Okay. So it's given me some credentials here, and it wants me to log in to their account, into my account here. Oh, okay. No, that's cool. All right. So if I come over here into, where is it?
Winston's mom says trial users are restricted to 365 calendar days of daily bars during their trial. Do they mean 1 full year of trial? I doubt that.
No.
Dan H says I normally wire funds and pay the $30 fee for 1 day XFER.
Right. Well, like that was the thing is the first time I did that, my wife, she went back and looked at the receipt and she's like, "You spent $30 for a wire transfer? That's ridiculous. Next time we're sending a check." I'm like, "Fine. Fine." Okay. So first thing we need to do is we need to edit this so that it doesn't auto connect. Okay. So let's try. Nope. No. Wrong button. New IQFeed. Okay. Customer information, maybe. So the first thing that I see is when I pull that up is I need connection. Oh, maybe that's just what we call it. IQFeed.
Winston's mom says your wife is correct. Lol. I would have said the same thing. You want a wife who watches the pennies. They add up.
I don't know if she's not very meticulous about that sort of thing. I'm the one that's meticulous about it. Okay. Let's try connecting. Okay. The IQ client does not appear to be installed. Okay, so is that a jigsaw thing? Hold on. Oh, okay. In order to connect to IQFeed, you need the IQFeed client application installed. Click here for the latest version of the client. Okay, so if I come back over here,
Winston's mom says when I managed the house, I kept meticulous records of every penny spent. However, we grew careless as we grew more affluent. Lots
Yeah.
of little things slipped like paying too much for insurance.
Paying too much for insurance, huh? Let's just click here for the latest version of the client. So we'll just, let's see here. All right, let's just do this. Bam, save. So what is too much for, what would be too much for insurance? it's an x86 application, which is kind of interesting. And it needs to install Visual Studio C++ 2012. 2012. 8 years ago, bros. That's old stuff. Okay. Finish. And let's just let's find it here. IQFeed client. No, that's not right. That was the installer. IQFeed. Okay. But
Winston's mom says, for example, we had State Farm and we used the same agent for years. We still do. We had
there you
expensive
go.
cars and the children had cars, yet we did not do yearly evaluations. Our homeowners was $14,000 a year.
What? Yeah, Farmers is expensive. I had it for my car for a long time, but I don't even remember who I'm using right now. Actually, it might be Farmers. I don't recall. Okay, let's see if just installing it fixes that. IQFeed connect. Ending. Aha. Connect.
Winston's mom says we lived on the water in Florida, so our property tax was $12,000. Florida waterfront in the boom years.
Okay, so this is telling, as soon as I log in, it says your trial expires on the 8th. So it literally only gives you a week of data, which is less than you normally get. Okay, but I am connected here in Jigsaw now. So let's just, I don't know, my workspace got jacked up because I didn't close down Jigsaw before I. So one of the things that I haven't figured out is I think in Jigsaw, it automatically saves your workspace no matter what. And so if I don't close everything down before I switch things over, because I keep one screen open and then I switch my other two screens for work. And so everything gets moved over to one screen. And so that's why they all get all screwed up. Anyways. Why is that not latching? Okay. So let's see if it lets me pull up the end. Oh wait, we're gonna have to pull the
Dan H says I use the
instruments.
JT connection from Ninja to send data to Jigsaw.
Oh yeah, so that's what I was doing. That's what I was doing with Rhythmic. Okay. Let's see if it'll give me the spreads. That would be nice. Yeah, I had it because I had like a demo account. So I would connect Jigsaw to the one, and then I would connect my demo account to NinjaTrader. But now I was using the bridge, and I found that the bridge really did not introduce any lag or anything. The only issue with the bridge is that NinjaTrader is just not stable, you know? But my understanding is that relatively soon, in the next few months, that Jigsaw is going to have charts, and then I can just completely ditch NinjaTrader, I guess.
Winston's mom says why don't you use that corner over there and aim the camera at yourself? Then you would have the two sides angled better and a triangle mise en place functional space. Plus the acoustics look good.
Yeah, the acoustics in here are okay. I still hear an echo. I don't think it's very bad with this microphone because it's a dynamic microphone. But my first thing is there's that corner back there. I'm going to get a light for that corner. That's my next purchase. And then maybe some more room treatment. We'll see. But I've pretty much put everything into this stream that I think I can in terms of like making the quality of it nice. I guess I could spend some money on like have somebody design better
Dan H
stuff.
says I do not hear an echo on this side.
Yeah, I can kind of hear it a little bit in my headphones, but you probably cannot hear it. Okay, so they downloaded the symbols. Close that. Now let's try it. Z N 10-year note futures June 2020 CVOT. Yes. Okay. It appears to be loading something. I am seeing trades going off. I'm not seeing level 2 data. I can see the orders go off, but I can't see the level 2. Okay, so this is where we come in here. Add additional exchanges, news add-ons. Let's see.
Winston's mom says there is just a slight echo to your voice, but I only realized it when you pointed it out.
Right.
Your radio DJ voice already resonates. I like those tapestries the channels use. Books, spaceships, comics. Bots says good morning.
Hey, John. Oh, do I just have to click market depth like that? Or so now I have to go through the whole story again. I sent money in to AMP to refund my account, but they received it 2 days ago, and they
Bot
require
says, what
5
are you
days.
trying to sort out there with your data feed?
Yeah, they require a 5-day hold on checks, so they're not going to deposit the funds for another 3 days. So until then, I was like, well, let's just do a demo.
Winston's mom says good morning. Bots speculator Seth is checking out a new platform DTN IQFeed.
Yeah, so since we were talking about it the other day, I was like, well, I hear that IQFeed is the best data. Let's try it. Okay, continue sign up. So I didn't add the market depth when I signed up for the demo. So they have a complicated sign up process. You have to put a credit card down, but they don't charge you anything. Accept. But I forgot to add market depth to it. So now we're adding market depth. Oh, can you not see? Oh, that's weird. Wait a second. That's interesting. It shouldn't be doing that. It's showing you the wrong screen. Oh, man.
Bot says so question, why didn't you go with Kinetic? Winston's mom says this video will be
no
really
reason.
helpful to some of us who will want to rewatch it when we try out IQFeed. Perhaps you could add that to your title for today.
We'll add it as trying out different data feeds. Is Kinetic the same thing? Market data. I know I've been to that website before. Where was that? Right here. Is it the same thing as IQFeed, right?
Bot says the data feed going into Kinetic is DTN.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's the same thing. I did it through IQFeed.net is how I signed up for it. I'm going to have to restart
Bot
Obrius.
says rebranded by NinjaTrader.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, so what is it telling me here? Okay. So now manage services. Oh, there's some stuff. Oh yeah, but you still can't see it. I should just turn on the camera. I'm going to have to restart OBS.
Bot says so you'll have to ask them for level 2 data.
Yep, I had to. So I just added market depth to it. So now it's there. Now I'm thinking I probably need to like restart everything. on. We're going to do a couple of things here. Okay.
Winston's mom says if you asked everyone to report their platforms and took a poll, then maybe the idea would be to use the mean average platform so more of your viewers were on the same page. Democracy meet dad.
Well, okay. So the thing with it, Win, is probably 99% of traders use CQG or Rhythmic. Probably 99%.
Bots says, and while you're at it, ask them for the CBOE index info for $5 a month so you can access the interest rates in real time.
Index info. Okay, so hold on. Let's look. Oh, here we go. CBOE indexes. Okay. Mm-hmm. So $7 a month. Okay. Like the thing is when you add all of the stuff that I would want to trade, the amount you build per month is a lot. Agree.
Bot says sorry, it used to be $5.
Yeah. Well, I think that I am really thinking maybe I should move from Rhythmic over to CQG. The reasons that I originally went with Rhythmic aren't really a thing anymore. So I could use Rhythmic or CQG. I don't really know if there's a significant difference between them, and maybe it's worth it just to try it for a little while, I don't know. The thing is, they both have a hefty data fee on
Dan H
orders.
says I use the full CME data and tick and trend with Ninja. $26 per month.
And are you getting it through? How are you getting it? What is your data provider? Okay, so there's that. Add it on there. I'm wondering. I come back in here. Oh no, we don't need that. Okay, so now I have to stop OBS and restart it because it didn't detect when I turned the new screens on. So I'll be like 5 seconds. I'll be right back. You might have to refresh the screen.
Dan H says Dorman sends the data.
Okay. I think we're back. Yes, we're back. So Dan, you say Dorman sends the data, but Dorman is not the data provider, right? It's going to be it's going to be one of these, right? CQG, Rhythmic, IQFeed, one of those.
Bot says thumbs up, I love Dorman, great broker.
So now I'll put that over there. Let's restart Jigsaw and see if now when I restart it, if it shows me the market data. Okay. Connect the IQFeed. Okay. Tells me that it. So it's interesting that everybody else gives you a 2-week trial. They only give you a 1-week trial. Aha. Now I see market data. Now I'm only seeing 10 levels. And I have my depth shown to 100. So that's the first thing that I'm noting is that I don't get as many levels as I get through Rhythmic. I'm also, it actually looks like I get a lot of updates. Probably more than Rhythmic is giving me. You can just kind of tell by how smooth the numbers change. Oh yeah. It's definitely different. Can I connect NinjaTrader to it?
Bot says you'll only see greater than 10 levels on CL.
So you're saying...
Bot says everything else is limited to 10.
Right. So you're saying that you go through NinjaTrader brokerage and you get Kinetic, which is IQFeed, essentially. And then you get like the CBOE indexes things for the extra $5 and you end up paying, well, Dan says 26. So sounds like both of you guys, both bots and Dan, are using NinjaTrader brokerage. Well, that was a nice thing about Rhythmic, but I don't know if it was like a critical feature. It was just kind of fun. I'm really getting into this thing where it's like there's so many things that I could see where like I see where it's useful, and there's probably an edge that you can pull out of it, but I'm not necessarily using it as a significant part of my strategy. I didn't investigate it heavily. So it's like there might be edge in it, but I don't really know. But it's interesting at the very least, and it's fun to look at, and I'm realizing there's a lot of things like that, and I'm kind of, and now that I'm really focusing in on this strategy that we've been working, sorry,
Bot says
that
I get
Ace showed
Continuum,
us.
which is CQG,
Oh,
rebranded
okay.
from NinjaTrader using Dorman as the broker.
Oh, you get Continuum. Okay. But see, maybe I should go to CQG and pay for the index
Bot
stuff.
says Kinetic was an add-on for me.
Yeah. Oh, so is the Continuum is free and then you added on Kinetic? But how much do you pay for the Kinetic? Well, let's try opening up Ninja and see if my Ninja license will let me connect to it.
Bot says correct.
Okay. And how much is the add-on per month? Oops. I didn't turn off the... Yeah.
Bot says I have a reduced fee because I'm a Ninja vendor.
Oh. Man, that really does end up being a nice perk, doesn't it? Okay. So here I see IQFeed. So let me try it. I'm going to come over here to Jigsaw, and I'm going to disconnect.
Dan H says I write NinjaScript, maybe I should become a vendor.
Yeah, right? Well, they were courting me to become a vendor, and there's a lot of things that I really do think that I should put out there, and I would make it really cheap. But at the time, I didn't really have the space, and we were dealing with all of that nonsense from another YouTube channel, and I was like, well, I don't really want
Bot
to go
says
in.
it's not a huge savings, by the way.
It's not a huge savings. I mean, is it more than $50 a month? Why don't you just give me the number? 50 to me, in my mind, $50 a month is like my limit, where it's like, hey, if I'm spending more than $50 a month, then I need to be making money from it consistently making money from it.
Bot says 56.
Oh, okay. So that's actually not too bad. Is it going to connect? Oh, it does. It does. So let's open up our quant workspace. See what they do. So earlier when you were asking a question about like the year of data, what that means is when you load up a chart, it's only going to let you look at a year.
Bot says Dan H's deal sounds better.
Yeah. But yeah, because he said what? He uses full CME data and tick and trend with Ninja for $26 a month, and Dorman says the data. I'm based on what he's saying though, it sounds like he's just using Continuum. Okay, so now that Ninja is up, they're all pulling it from that. So let's switch this back over to ZN. Like
Dan
that.
H says continuum or CQG.
Yeah.
Bot says
with
CME
tick
data
and
with tick and trend for 26.
Well, I could switch over to that. I could switch over to that. The question is, I guess, what advantages am I getting from Rhythmic that I'm gonna miss when I go over to CQG? You know what I mean? Okay. So we're getting data. It
Bot
is
says continuum as the white label for CQG.
right. The thing that would matter to me, the thing that seems to make a difference for me for some reason. Do you see it right here on my DOM? When they hit into
Bot says you're
09
going
half,
to miss those 100 levels of level 2 data.
maybe. I don't know if I really use it. Well, for the 10-year, that's okay. So over here in ES, not being able to see more than 10 levels is a little annoying on ES. I think they should give me more than 10 levels on ES. But I don't know if I really pay attention to the level 2 and ES.
Dan H says is there lag when going through Ninja versus direct data to Jigsaw.
So there is, well, so I can show you this. It's it's like barely noticeable. So if I come into Ninja Trader and I open up a Super DOM, dynamic Super DOM, and it's on ES here. So let me reset that. So you can see it. What you could do is go back and rewatch the video and pause it, and then you can press the left caret, right caret buttons, over by your M key, M, and you could go frame by frame, and you could see there's maybe 1 frame between them. There's maybe 1 frame difference. So there is lag, but it is less than, certainly less than human reaction time. So when it comes to lag, we can actually quantify that. I don't think that people realize that human reaction times and all that sort of thing are actually quite standardized and consistent. So here's how I know this. How do I want to do this? Did I get rid of no, I don't think I did. Where's the Where's the browser windows that I had? Oh, maybe I did close it. Well, that's weird. That's weird. Okay, well, we'll try. We'll pull it over here. Okay, so human reaction time. We'll try it. That was slow. That was about average. Getting a little better. Oh, that one was slow. Okay. So, the average median reaction time is 215. I can get under 200 milliseconds. And you can see here from the statistics, that's pretty good.
Dan H says I wonder if a pattern recognition strategy could read the DOM for the basic trades from no BS trading.
I don't know, Dan. Here's the thing though that I would tell you about the patterns from no BS trading. If you go in and every time that you see one of those potential patterns from no BS trading and you trade them, you'll lose money. And he kind of actually says that in the book, Remember well, not in the book, but in the main thing that you read. Remember, there's this part where he says, "Okay, here is a thing where this guy he he'll ha- he'll have like a big order up here, and then all of a sudden he will pull it and he'll buy everything that's there, and then he'll run through, and now all of a sudden it's up, even though you see a big order there in the way." And but then he says, but then there's another time where they do it, and somebody else that's even bigger just absorbs contracts there, and it moves you down, right? So what he's pointing out is like, here's the game, and there's two sides to the game, and you kind of have to figure out the situations where you can predict which side is going to win, right? And that's kind of the whole thing, is like he explains to you what's going on, but you have to go through and watch and keep really meticulous records about the particular signals that you're seeing and what the market conditions are, and when they tend to work. Okay? Because if you do it every time, I mean, I've done that before, and it usually doesn't work out too well. Anyways, you can see here, it's like only like a few milliseconds of lag. And your human reaction time is like 200 milliseconds of lag. And we're talking about something that's maybe, well, hold on. It would be 1,000 divided by 30. We're talking about maybe a 30 to 50 millisecond delay. It's not significant. It's not a significant enough reason to not use the bridge. So like I said, the issue with the bridge.
Well, mine was 299.
Your reaction time? Well, so this is where things can get interesting. Well, wait, let me finish that sentence. The reason to not use the bridge is NinjaTrader crashes. That's really it. Okay. So I think that there's a place in here. Where is it? According to the data. Display. Here we go. So they have further reading on different things. So this is where like, doesn't it? I wish they had a. It's somewhere else. They're somewhere else. They have some data where they're actually tracking what monitor you're using and things like that. And to see how that's affecting people's scores.
Bot says they say it is also affected by monitor and network lag, so that makes me feel a little better.
Yeah. So when you look at it like that, so where did my calculator just go? You know. Okay. So if there's 1,000 milliseconds in a second, and you have the standard 60 hertz monitor.
Says, did you take his course, Set the Knobs?
I read the basic course. I've never done the webinar.
Bot says my old 1080p Acer monitors aren't as fast as that new one of yours is.
Yeah. So you probably have a 60 hertz monitor, right? So that's 16 milliseconds of lag. But in reality, it's actually more than that, because it's like, it depends on where in the frame you are. So if you click and it's a certain number of milliseconds for your mouse to go through, so it's like 16 milliseconds for you to see it, and then you click and it's 10 milliseconds for the click to register.
Bot says Set the Knobs, interesting name.
And then it's another 16 milliseconds for you to get the next update on the screen. You can, in reality, be delayed by like 50 milliseconds just from your monitor. So they did some tests with these where they were playing these games, and they had like 240 hertz refresh rate monitors, and they showed these edge case scenarios where you could react to something where you wouldn't be able to react to it normally, because then you add your 200 millisecond reaction on top of that, you know.
Dan H says wireless laptop does not help.
Yeah. So having a good mouse with a high polling rate and a high refresh rate monitor is going to get your reaction time down. It does help in futures trading, but like I said, 200 milliseconds is so much that you're not gonna. You can see with me. I mean, I try to play that game, but it very rarely does it really actually help me out, right? This is more of a video game thing. If you're playing Counter-Strike, then it really matters. But the point of that is to say about 200 milliseconds, that's like what you can react to on a good time. 300 milliseconds is like slow. Like if you really have to think it out and everything, it could be 300 milliseconds or more. And then the older that you are, it's higher, of course. So I'm also a little faster when I take my Adderall, but I'm not in practice, so I can usually get below 200. Um, anyways, so like I said, the delay that you get from the connection, it's not a significant enough reason to not use it. What I was gonna say with the data, the thing that seems to help me, and I don't know why this is, but I've just noticed that when I've been using feeds that kind of do this, that I can tell what the 10-year is doing a little bit better. Well, there's nothing happening to it right now. Okay, so like when we see the changes, some orders hit through there. Okay, you see the numbers on the level 2 change very rapidly. Now you can throttle yourself so that you don't see the changes as fast. But when I can kind of see the little fidgets, for some reason that I get something out of that. Like I can tell that they are loading up and these are pulling out of the way. And okay, wow, that turned around so quickly. Where I just looked over to the other side and I was like, well, might be a little overextended. Same with on the downside. I don't sell right now in the E-mini, even though it's very tempting. It looks like they're going to sell into the open. I'm really thinking. So we never did our analysis. Let's go and do that. Okay. Yesterday, we were looking at this chart, and I was just kind of making some guesses. Maybe I should track these, but I was saying one scenario was they come up and then they kind of balance here, and one scenario is they make a higher high and then they go up. But I also thought maybe we were going to go down, and I thought we were either going to go sideways or down. And when we got this whole thing, that's like a head and shoulders, and the right side of this shoulder wasn't fast enough. So I said, well, it's not going to do a thing. And you can see like they moved down a little bit, but they didn't do like the full target. So I'm going to say that's not a full head and shoulders. But then in the overnight session, the Europeans did sell it down. So now we're getting down to this area where they might try and test 2450 or 2444. The range is consolidating, so we should keep that in mind. But this is a short setup, right? Like the way I'm looking at this in my head, is that we had developed a range here. This is a range, and this is a range, and this is a range. So we did range extension higher, and it failed. Now we're going to come down and we're going to do range extension lower. If they break the range extension lower, then they will probably try and push into the next section of the profile, which is going to be, let me clear it out. It's going to be here and here. Why is that box like that? Oh, that's because that's where where they were halted. Okay. Anyways, so that's the E-mini. The E-mini looks like trending down. Now, when I look at the treasuries, they're still kind of hitting up against this hard resistance up at the top. And you can kind of see just from the level 2 when we're coming back over here. That's kind of happening. We're like they came up and then they're slipping back. So They're trying to push higher, but there's some heavy resistance above. So yeah, that's where we're at. Anyways, you get those fidgets. It's kind of, I like it so much for some reason. Well, I don't know. Just using their demo here, I'm like, okay, it does seem like the IQFeed is a little better, but it doesn't seem like it's $100 a month better. You know what I mean? Maybe if they were giving me news on top of it. Okay. So there was a little bit of a kind of pulling back. You're going to have to see. I think overall we want to take shorts today, but I'm going to have to wait until after the open and everything to do it. What else? Was there anything that I missed in there? You asked me about John Grady's course. So just to reiterate, I've read the basic and I bought the intermediate. There wasn't a whole lot in the intermediate, but I've never taken the webinar. I've somebody showed me some recordings from the webinar, and I watched a couple of them. And interestingly enough, I ended up doing the exact same things that he did. And I actually went back and looked at my recordings on those days, and it was kind of interesting. And I felt, and like, I remember one day he tried fighting it like a bunch of times, and I looked back and I didn't do the same thing that he did. I didn't fight it quite so hard, but I still lost. I still had a really difficult time with that action. It was really interesting, but that's where I get into that. Like, the thing that's going to make a difference is if you see a signal, track it. Say this was the market condition. It was a fast market or it was a slow market. It was a trending up market. It was a trending down market. And this is a signal. Every time that you see it, track out what happens and determine if there's actually a real edge probability in it and in which conditions that edge is most effective. They are pushing down. So I guess the next thing that I should do is, if I do take an order here, do I have everything set up correctly? Yeah. Although I think that I was telling myself that I should use this account, this demo account, and then if I blow up, I'll move it over so that I can prove to myself that I know when to stop. Mnuchin on CNBC. Small business program up and running tomorrow. White House is not planning for a fourth coronavirus relief bill despite Democrats' push, officials say. Okay. Harmons and Draper will give out more than 3,000 digital thermometers starting today. I can hear something. What is that? I think I'm just hearing the AC, but I don't normally hear those kinds of noises.
Guido Sledden says I have done a few some years back. He lost money in all of them.
Has he really? I know that I've been told that in some of them that he did lose money. Yeah. That's where it's kind of like, I don't know if, I mean, he's never shown us his long-term results. So I think that if your goal is to find like a specific strategy that works, I don't know if that's like, he pretty much is telling you in the book that it doesn't work that way, that you have to watch it and find your own edge in it, there are some people, he's shown some testimonials of people that have found profitable strategies and have had success with it. I do think that in some cases, depending on you and your situation, that the really short-term scalping thing is maybe not necessarily what you want to do. If you really want to do that, if you really want to do the market making stuff, maybe it would be worth looking at Gary Norton's course. Now that's $1,000. That's kind of pushing the edge of what I would be willing to pay for education. I really respect Gary Norton too. I mean, he is definitely somebody that has a track record of success and that we know has had periods of really profitable trading, like legendarily profitable trading, and he's traded for firms and stuff like that. So he definitely has the credentials. Whether or not what he teaches you is profitable, who knows? But I spoke to one guy that's been using it, and he was telling me about the strategy, and he was just taking like a point in the E-mini. And he said that his win rate was like upwards of 70%. Can you imagine taking a trade in the E-mini with a 4-tick profit and a 4-tick stop and winning 70-80% of the time? But that's how he was doing it. But I haven't taken that course. I kind of want to, but oh my. Okay, so that is different. Rhythmic would not keep up with that. No way. That's so fast. Wow. I think that might be a little bit to do with the open itself too, but okay. So this open is a little bit more
Guido
mixed than
Sledden
the
says
other
his
ones.
information is very good, I think, but he can't trade it. Also, he gets very upset and trades just a one lot. So he is probably good as a teacher.
Yeah. Well, another thing that I would keep in mind, Guido, is that this kind of a strategy, there are definitely markets that it does really well in and markets that it doesn't do very well in. So I've had some periods.
Bots says you're going to love that DTN IQFeed data.
Yeah, it is better data. I don't know, John. I have really
Guido
mixed feelings
Sledden
about it
says I
right
have
now.
done the Gary Norton training too. It is very different.
Oh,
indeed.
you have? So you bought that right when it came out, huh? Or did you do that before he was making it available through Jigsaw? I'm interested. And then, did you think it was worth $1,000? And have you been trading it and been successful with it? Okay, this is a more mixed open than we've had in the past. Well, not like in the past, but like over the last few weeks. Usually, there's a pretty strong push by the buyers or sellers at the open. That one was very, very not a whole lot of change in cumulative delta, and a lot of pushback both ways. So I see plenty of volume. I'm sorry, I'm popping all over the place. I see a lot of volume, but I don't see a clear winner here. There's going to be probably some range extension here. Like they might move up and push out through this area right here. I don't know. Okay. I'm interested in what Gary has to say because he talks about using a value price and seeing when it goes away from that value and catching it and seeing it come back. And I'm always thinking in the treasuries, like, how do they determine when it's a price that's fair? Because I can see these spots where they'll trade back and forth, and I could pull a tick out if I knew it was going to happen before the area formed, you know? And if I just pull off a tick in the 10-year consistently with like a 70% win rate, then I would do it. Or maybe 2 ticks. Oh, Guido said before he made it.
Guido
available.
Sledden says before he made it available.
Okay. So you might be a little bit delayed. If you refresh the page, sometimes that will reduce the delay. But what do you think it was worth? You think it's worth the materials that they give are $1,000 now? Do you think that it's worth it? Would you use it? What kind of? I don't know. Tell me more. You're not the first person that I've talked to about it, but
Guido Sledden says I did
Yeah.
Skype sessions with Gary.
the guy that I spoke to, he did the Skype sessions too. Maybe you're the same person, but the chat has a huge delay. Yeah.
Guido
Refresh.
Sledden says this chat has a huge delay, winking face.
I'll type it in here.
Speculator Seth says sometimes you get delayed and if you refresh the page YouTube will catch you up.
No, she said that one really well. So here it's doing an inside bar of sorts. So this is not particularly favorable to me. The more of a trend that I'm getting, the better that my strategy in the E-mini tends to work. If we turn into slice and dice, that's going to make it really difficult for me. So it may be wise for me to just be a little hands off today. I don't know. And I was sitting here thinking, hey, there's a setup for them to start going short again, but that open is not telling me like they're just going to sell the crap out of it today, And maybe I'm wrong. Well, here they're going to test the downside. That test didn't get past the 2473 area either. Yeah, I tell you what, Jen, I have mixed feelings about it because it is nice, but it's not worth the money, Doesn't look like it's worth the money that they charge for it. Like, I'm looking at this and I'm like, I think the only reason you would need this data is if you had an automated trading strategy. If you were trading a robot. Oh, you know what? I bet you that the air filter is on somewhere. I can hear a fan. And it's not coming from outside.
Bot says it gives you access to 180 days back of tick data if you're trying to crunch numbers.
Yeah, I figured it out. It gives you access to 180 days back of tick data if you're trying to crunch numbers. So I wonder on that one, because on Rhythmic I've done back tests going back years, and supposedly my tick replay indicators work, but I've always kind of questioned like how accurate those are, you know? Okay, so as I walked away, they moved up pretty strongly there, huh? I do see things turning up, but I'm a little skeptical about it still. That's just kind of like expanding the range here. So I don't know if that's necessarily has to mean that we're just going to move up, you know?
Bot says tick data isn't the same thing as tick replay.
Yeah. So when you say tick data, you mean trade by trade, don't you? Because my understanding is the way that they do it is they have every trade that goes through, and then they look at what the bid offer was through there, and that's how they do the tick replay. Hmm.
Harry L says good morning, first time here.
Oh, hi, Ari. Hey, how did you find the channel?
Bot says yes, uptick versus downtick.
Yeah. I really wish that the exchange attached exchange timestamps to all the orders. Every update should have an exchange timestamp on it, and then we would know exactly what's happening. And I really see no reason that they wouldn't do that. And I can only surmise that retail traders would
Harry L
find
says
that
John Grady
information
and
really
Jigsaw.
useful. Well, yeah, but I don't get linked by them. Were you just like searching for it on YouTube and you came across me? Or we've been having some issues where YouTube was. So we'll go and check. I'm sure that they're probably still doing it because we had a stream that was really popular, and because of that, the robots would throttle it. So if I come in here and I search for speculator stuff, yeah, so you can see my videos, but you can't see this video.
Bot says if you right-click on the IQFeed icon in your taskbar, lower right corner of your screen.
Okay, right there. There's apps and stuff, and I can start and stop it.
Bot says you'll see some options for DTN tools.
Yeah. So like here's their market depth, for instance. Let's see. Ooh, that's big. Oh, it's probably giving me the
Bot says
stock.
there you go.
So that's probably not the 10-year. That's probably the stock. Dash ZN. What is it? H? ZNH20 or something like that.
Bot says they have a live uptick, down tick counter on there. Harry L says yeah, I have search loads, auction theory, ladder etc. Somehow your content showed. I like what you do.
Well, thank you. I don't, so if you're new here, I don't hold myself up as some like example trader, like you should watch me and you should do what I do. And I make mistakes for sure. And we were explaining a little bit earlier. I was trying to trade this volatility when things got really wild and really screwed up. So, but we've been doing really good with the strategy that I'm working on right now in the MES. And it has a great track record. I think we can continue to use that. And my order flow read, I think, is okay. But I'm just realizing, oh, and that was a thought that I had earlier that I just hadn't really finished. But there are times when order flow reading is so effective. Like, seriously, you will come in and you will pick every turn, like literally every turn, every little thing that it's going to do, you'll
Bot
see
says
it.
that TY is the symbol for 10-year note.
Why would it? Okay.
Bot says you need to add the month code to that.
TY. Yeah, why doesn't they have a thing for me to search for it? That's so annoying. And why isn't it the CME code?
Bot says at Tim20.
Cool. It does do it. I'm not quite sure what I'm seeing here. Wow.
Lucas says 2 things. YT is now showing your stream and Jigsaw doesn't open automatically when I open NT8. Now disappointed face.
Oh, so it's showing if you subscribe. So that's another thing is if you want to, we're here every morning. I would highly recommend if you want to join us, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. And then it's easier to find us. But apparently right now it's not recommending it to people, which is okay because the people that want to do this find it anyways. Jigsaw doesn't open. Oh, right. Hey, so Lucas, are you running the 64-bit version of Jigsaw now? Because I got that same thing. It doesn't automatically open it up anymore. Yeah.
Lucas says yup.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. I'm sure that they'll fix that, but I haven't really noticed a whole lot of difference. But I guess, yeah, I don't know what I'm looking at here, John, but it doesn't look like it's working very well. It's like updating so fast that you get this. Oh, that's interesting. Anyways, let's look at the memory usage on it. Well, it's only using 218 megabytes of memory. That is not bad. It is less than it was. It says the power usage is very low. Of course, OBS is very high. OBS is the one that's using all of the GPU to render things. I should get a new card. No, we're going to wait. We're going to wait until later this year we get a new card. Anyways, what was I talking about? I was talking about order flow reading. Sometimes you'll just catch every turn and it's amazing. And then you run into these markets where it's completely useless. I feel like right now in the 10-year that my read in the order flow hasn't been good. But I haven't really been watching it, so I'm not in on the meta. So, I don't know. It looks like up, but they've been struggling there with that area. The E-mini did come back down. Not to the open, but and did a little double top of sorts up there, didn't they?
DJ says, hey Seth, do you think it's better to have tighter stops but lower accuracy or larger stops and higher accuracy?
So, it's really going to be specific to your strategy. So, what I would be going for, where's my thing? Here it is. So obviously, if you have too tight of a stop, then what's going to happen is you're going to get stopped out every time. But it's really not so much your stop as it
Guido
is.
Sledden says scalping the NQ Norden style works well under these conditions. It's using the momentum.
Okay, he is using momentum then, huh? Okay. I kind of suspected. Well, when they explained it to me, it sounded like a momentum trade, which was the opposite of what I thought he was going to give us. I thought he was going to give us a range bound strategy. Those are kind of a little bit what I'm interested in right now, but I digress. So the thing that I would always look at is like, look at your instrument and like, what is the range of it? Okay. So if I come over here, I have this chart and I have an ATR attached to it. That's this thing down at the bottom. So that's telling me that on average, these bars are going up 5 points. So that kind of gives me a general idea of how much I could expect to get out of a trade. If I take a trade and I take a 5 tick stop, that's usually going to be pretty safe in this environment. I've actually been using a 16 tick stop and I've been doing good. But if you go back and you do the larger stats, the average rotation is about 12 ticks actually, to be precise, between 12 and 16 ticks in the E-mini. Okay. So that's the first thing. So when you know what the average range is, then you can sit down and you can start doing some kind of a little bit of sussing things out. So like if my stop is the average range, then if I'm picking a spot that is actually like a real decision point, then my percent of winning is theoretically 50%, right? Hold on, let me pull it back over here. 50%. But it's not actually 50%. Why? Because of the spread, right? So when you take the spread out of it, you really get more like 45 to 40. Okay. So actually, let me just clear it. So 40 to 45%. Okay. So if you're scalping, that's kind of your goal, is to get it to 45 or above. Okay. If you're scalping. And when I say scalping, I mean like trades where you're in for maybe 5 to 30 minutes, if that, maybe even a few seconds. But not swing trading, not trying to hold it through multiple swings. Okay. Like if it turns, if we have a major swing and a high and it turns back down, you should have taken a profit there. And maybe it goes higher, but that's where you should have gotten out and then get back in, that sort of thing. Okay, so you want like a 45%. So then you kind of have to go in and you have to do your stats. So like sometimes you will get in an area where there's enough of a turn where let's say you're doing reversals, okay? If you do the reversal and you're right, it tends to like come all the way back. And if you're wrong, it tends to come down here, right? So you have like a really skewed risk reward, right? Like if this runs, you can make like 16 times what your average loser is, okay? But the chances of you catching that because there's momentum is really more like 30%, right? So for a strategy like that, you can do it and you can do 30%. I've done those and those can work, and those can actually be some of the most successful kinds of strategies. Is something that only works 30 to 40% of the time, but when it does work, it really, really goes. And that one, you really have to know when to take it off, right? Because the worst thing that can happen is it comes up 16 times in your favor, 16 times your risk, and then it comes back and you lose it all. That sucks. Okay. Anyways, but if you can really get a real spot that has a real probability, you could get into something where, I have a 45% chance of being right, and I can make 2 to 4 times my money, 2 to 4x. And that's kind of like the sweet spot for scalping. Like when I'm doing well, that's what I'm usually doing is I'm picking these spots. I'm risking 2 ticks and making 8 ticks in the 10-year. And you're doing that over and over again. And those are great. That's when order flow reading is good. Okay. So that's where I would adjust my stop, right? Is you would have to look at that particular space. And the way that you do this is you got to keep the stats. And not only do you have to keep the stats, but you kind of have to watch it even after you get out, if you get out. Or just watch it for 2 weeks. Don't trade it. Just watch it and say, here's the particular entry condition that I want to look at. Here's the price that it happens. And now I'm going to watch it. And I'm going to watch it until there's the next major pivot. Okay. What happens from there? Does it go up or down? How many ticks up does it go? And how many ticks down does it go? I've been losing a lot of frames today. I don't know what the deal is. And when you go through those stats, if it's actually a real spot, you will start to find very consistent behavior with it, generally speaking. So for instance, one of the ones that I did with this is I have a trade here with this this chart right here. It's kind of this is number of level 2 changes. It tracks volume, but it precedes volume a little bit and is a little bit more effective than volume. When you get a volume spike, fade it. That's the trade. Okay. About 60% of the time it's going to fade, but if you're in trending market, it's not going to work. So this is a strategy that has an overall profitable. Overall, it's profitable, but it has very deep drawdowns because of trend days and significant trends. Okay. You see it here. You reverse in the 10-year. On average, it's going to go 2 against you, and you're going to make 48. And when we did that, if you watch that and you just watch it every day for 2 weeks and keep the stats, generally it's going to come out to be something close to that. So that's what you want to do, is you want to investigate your signal and see what the probabilities are, right? Now, you might find some interesting things there. For instance, when I did that, and you got the volume spike, I discovered that they almost always go 2 ticks
Harry
further.
L says right to left as I see ZF, ZN, ZB, and S. Also, is this NT bridge? Or standalone day trader and NT?
Right now I'm using the bridge. And so I'm having an issue with my data because I sent some more funding to my my broker because I totally screwed up. I mean, you got to be honest with it. I hate to say it like when it's a new person, like, oh, they're going to be like, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. And sometimes I do good and sometimes I do bad. And I made some really bad decisions when we were really moving down. It wasn't even that I was like trying to buy it or anything. It was just too volatile for me to be trading it. And I shouldn't have been trading it. So I got to send more money in, but they didn't receive it in time. So I'm using a demo IQFeed account today. And then we'll get back. And maybe we'll switch it from Rhythmic to CQG. I don't know. Anyways, I digress. I'm using the bridge. At some point, I do want to go standalone day trader because Ninja Trader does crash from time to time. Okay. Anyways. Yeah. So do it that way. And when you keep the data, you'll know what your stop and your target should be. You'll know what to expect. Yeah. Because you don't want to move your stop and let your stop be bigger than what you actually need to have to know if you're wrong. So yeah, that's how I would take it. We were talking about this yesterday, but one of the big things that I'm really been focusing on is the analysis part of it. Is like you have to be able to look at a strategy and see and analyze it and say, okay, is there actual edge in this? Does it make sense for me? Does it meet my goals? When does it work and when does it not work? When is the strategy having enough problems that I need to stop trading it or go back to the drawing board? Those sorts of things. Those are the really important things that as day traders, like 95% of day traders fail. And that's the skill that I think that they're missing, is that they're unable to do that analysis over long periods of time. because in order to really become effective, you kind of have to do that over a period of a year. You take a look at something and see over a year, when did it do well and when did it not do well, and see what you can grab from that. Mm-mm. Oh, by the way, I have the 5 year is on the very right. So 5, 5, 10, 30,
DJ
MES.
says trading can be so personalized, it makes the process more complicated.
Yeah. And that's another thing that I find, especially the guru type of people don't really factor in, is like, if you want to make money with markets, I can give you a strategy. I can give you a couple of strategies. Okay. One strategy is just go and buy an index fund and hold it. And if it goes down, buy more and just continue to double down and never sell and just hold it forever.
RJ Wheels says pattern recognition. Price volume whatever.
Yeah. Okay. That'll work if you hold it forever. This is really buy and hold value investing, right? It works, you would make money. But does it actually meet your goals and what you want to do? Like, you probably, I think most day traders, they want to pull money out of it every month to maybe pay bills at someday. Like, they would love to just do that as their only job, to pay bills. So if you have a month like last month and you lose all your money, that's not going to work, right? So that particular strategy doesn't fit your goals. Or, hey, I want to be active in the market. I have the ability to come here and sit here and look at it for 2 hours, and that's what I want to do. Okay. Then that buy and hold doesn't really fit you. So then we have to look at, okay, what time do you have? What resources do you have? What sort of things are you good at? How does your brain work in order to figure out a strategy that would work for you? Right. So some of the problems that I have, for instance, is I have a poor attention span. So it's really helpful to me to have things that are really specifically regimented. So I like to be able to see what the market is doing, because I'll notice a lot of things that people don't notice, but I have to have really strict rules. So in that respect, kind of this short-term scalping um, makes sense, and I'm only able to be here for about 2 hours, so then it really makes sense. As opposed to swing trading, I could probably make more money from swing trading, but I'm not around long enough to do swing trading. Ergo, that strategy isn't right for me, right? And then you gotta find your own spot, right? You gotta find something that
Smash the
matches
Bid
you.
says higher win rate is better. As long as your RR is at least 1-to-1. Higher win rate means less consecutive losers.
Well, yeah. So if you're gonna do a risk reward of 1-to-1, you have to be winning more than 60% of the time. Okay. Like, it depends a little bit on what your commission is, but to really make money, you've got to be doing 60 to 70%. Man, why am I getting so many hitches today? I'm so sorry, guys. Is it because I'm using more CPU? It does appear like I am. It mostly is coming from OBS though, so I don't really know why it is doing what it's doing. It's not like anything has really changed in my setup. Have these. I don't get gold or oil right now from this IQFeed trial. Oh, maybe it could just be the IQFeed thing running in the background. Maybe maybe it's more strain on my system. Maybe I should filter down what I'm getting. Anyways, I mean, like, the thing is you get a higher win rate as long as your risk reward is at least 1-to-1, and that's where I would look at the range of your instrument and kind of work from there, right? If you're gonna trade, if you're gonna trade something that's like equal risk reward, you're probably gonna have a profit target and stop that's less than the average range. Probably. That's probably not a hard rule, but I have had a very difficult time finding strategies that have equal risk reward with probabilities higher than 60%. And so if you have one that you think matches me, then I would love to trade it. But on my own, the things that I find tend to be 60% in the right environment. So doesn't really work. Like that one that I was showing you where it reverses 60% of the time in the right environment. If it's a trend day up, then you're screwed. Then you have to know that it's a trend day up. And how do you know that it's going to be a trend day up or not? The conundrum. So I see, I have a lot of, I don't know what the deal here is. Don't need this, don't need this. Oh, I have Gmail open. Gmail is always bad. Let's ditch Gmail. Oh, and here are these two windows. Okay, so now I can get rid of these. Probably don't need that window. Oh, I definitely don't need, I don't know why that's open. I think it might just be IQFeed, but I'm still dropping frames, Okay, well, that dropped my memory usage considerably. So that's good. Malwarebytes is using a lot too for some reason. I don't have Chrome open, do I? No.
Harry L says, what is your instrument of choice? Say in normal times?
Well, I really like the 10-year. Lately I've been doing better in the micros. I think part of that is Ace, who's the guy in our chat. I'm sure he'll pop in at some point. Showed me a strategy that I've been quite successful with, I'd say. As long as we're not within crazy town and it doesn't matter what you do, they're going to go and hit your stop, right? But like we could be trading it in this situation. I just haven't really seen a really good setup. Yeah, it's been tough. It's kind of been a little bit of a blender today. So I'm not exactly 100% sure why I've just been so laid back about it and not felt like taking a trade, but I'm just not seeing them. So yeah, I do better in MES, but I really like the 10-year. I tell you what. The problem with the 10-year is hard to trade, man. It's efficient, you've got strong competition over there. But I find it so much more interesting just watching the little battle here that goes on between the buyers and the sellers, and you got so much liquidity in it normally that you can really get a good idea of what people are doing at which spots and stuff. I wonder if they're gonna come back here very much or not. I just haven't been watching the flow very well. Let's kind of pay attention to it here for these next 20 minutes and see if we can get a better idea of what they're doing. So that time they ticked up really fast and stacked a really big 800 order there. That's kind of interesting. But nobody's hitting into the 08. And I did get a signal long in the E-mini. Finally. It kind of, the sound kind of got short-circuited.
Harry L says, sorry about all the newbie questions. I am
No,
going
you're
to
totally
assume you
fine.
trade till noon to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time?
No. So I only trade, so I start at 8:20 Eastern Time.
Dan H says, what news window is that?
This is built into Jigsaw. So you have Jigsaw, right? So it's over here. I think it's this one over here on the far right.
Winston's mom says, signal long, that's my cue. Will everyone please take a moment to hit like? Thank you.
Thanks. No, so on the Jigsaw dashboard, there's this one with it's widgets, and then real time or economic releases is what it is. I had the real time news one open for a while, and I didn't really find it useful, so I got rid of it. So you're gonna show it to me here. There you go. We could try that. Open that up for a little bit and see, but I didn't. It was like giving me too much garbage news that I didn't care about. Anyways, so I'll start at 8:20 Eastern time, which is when the treasuries start trading, and I'll trade 2
Dan
hours.
H says at least margin went back to 2x during the session.
Yeah. Well, they were giving us, I think 150 in amp for a micro. So they have brought it back down to normal. Whiting Petroleum files for bankruptcy. I'm really trying to pay attention to what's going on in oil a little bit more, especially with the companies.
Harry L says 120.
120. Yeah, I mean, it's in Eastern time. It's 8:20. 8:20.
Harry L says AMP margin.
Yeah, okay, it's 120 now. Yeah, they brought it down for micro. The thing that was funny was that they were allowing you to trade the 10-year for like $400. I'm like, hey, that's actually better than what it used to be. And the amount of money that you could make and everything, it was actually more leveraged than the other products, which is not usually the case. Let's move this like over here. Kind of keeping track of my stats, and I don't really see anything unusual happening. I'm pretty sure that's just the data feed and stuff is giving me the rendering lag, unfortunately. I suppose it could also be just all the charts that I have open. I really do need to get a new video card at some point, but I should wait until there's new cards out later in the year. Because, you could spend $1,000 on a video card. And I don't think that I really need to spend that much money. I want to spend the money that I got buying a longer term portfolio. Okay, so there was a good move up. They didn't really extend it higher than they've gone so far. And I'm seeing a possible downturn again. I don't think that I see enough trend in the longer term to be really certain about which direction I want to take it. So I think that maybe it's still better that I sit on my hands. Or if I do take a trade, I'm not going to try and let it run. But you guys are asking questions, and I'm totally willing to do that today. Today is a good day to do that, Anyways, you know what? Well, like reading order flow can be really exhausting. So especially when you're starting out, I wouldn't recommend doing it for more than like 2 or 3 hours at a time. So the first 2 hours of the treasury session is like the best time period. First 3 hours up until the London session closes, and then after that, it's really not.
Winston's mom says, "What kind of video card are you looking for? I know people in the computer world who sell gray market, and they also sell refurbished RAW and not rules of engagement. Link it below. Later I will ask."
Well, so I was looking for a 1660 GT. Not GTX, a 1660 GT, an NVIDIA GeForce 1660. But the problem is that right now, so they had like the 10 series cards. That's what I have in my computer right now. So like I have a 1060. And then they released the 20 series cards last year, I think, which includes a new feature called Ray Tracing RTX. But because the big feature was RTX, that was worth more. So the value of my 1060 is almost what I bought my 1060 for $200, and you can buy them for like $150 now. Yeah, right? It's crazy. So when the 20 series cards came out, they just made them more. So like a 2080, which is the high-end card, is like $1,000 to $1,500 depending on which kinds you get. But later this year, they're supposed to be coming out with 30 series cards. So when they come out with the 30 series cards, the 30 series cards are supposed to replace the 20 cards. And so the 20 cards will be worth, what the 10 series cards are now and vice versa. So after that comes out, I might get like a 2070 or something like that when they're trying to liquidate them all. Or maybe I'll just buy the new one and I'll buy a 3070. But I think that's kind of where I want to go. And that would give me a lot more graphics processing power. And it would give me a separate encoder. So I think that would make a big difference. Because when I get hitches, it will like delay you guys. That's why I think you're a little bit more delayed today than normal. This is because I'm dropping frames and then you guys get lagged and you'd have to refresh YouTube to catch back up. So they did move back up there in the treasuries. That's interesting.
Winston's mom says it never hurts to ask, and if I come up with anything, I will holler.
Yeah. I mean, if I had a really good deal on a 1660, then maybe I would do it. And I've certainly seen some okay deals on them, but it's probably better to wait. It's the same thing. Like I could actually upgrade my processor. They were doing 3600, which is a great processor, and I'm pretty sure that it should be compatible with my motherboard after a BIOS flash. And it was only 150. Brand new one. I was such an amazing price for the processing power that you get. I could do that. That would make a little bit of a difference too. I'm using I'm not encoding with the video card right now. I'm encoding with my processor. So that I'm getting rendering lag says to me that it has more to do with the number of charts I have open and the number of stuff that I have here in OBS. See how like that's still dropping frames. It's got to be IQFeed for sure. Like that must be causing, I don't know. When I open it up, like the weird thing is that when I open it up, or it could just be that the video card is dying. If the video card is dying, then maybe we end up getting one more.
Harry L says you are right. Reading order flow can get extremely tiring. PMI data must be good market moving up.
Oh yeah. So let's see here. ISM manufacturing 37 spot 4 versus 41. 49 spot 1 versus 45 for PMI. I guess it is good. It's not as bad as we thought it would be, but I really don't think that you see the impact in those numbers yet. Back when it was in March, we were kind of like, yeah, this is the old data. You're not going to see it, but we'll see. There was a good volume cluster back there at 2491 too. That's a really good cluster. Yeah, you buy that. Huh. That was way after the news though, right? I didn't really see the market ever pull. That made me thought, oh, I need to go and check out the news. Well, let's double check Twitter and see if there's anything in Twitter. New Jersey's income tax deadline extended. Russia sending a plane load of supplies. Anything else over here? There was another hitch. Is it just TweetDeck? Let me close TweetDeck. We'll just do that for a little bit and see what happens. It seems like OBS is using more CPU than it normally would need. I guess I could get rid of some of these. No. So weird. Well, I hope it's not the video card just going. Oh, wait. So here I have GPU engine. What else is using the GPU engine? Skype. It could also be the move of Day Trader over to the 64-bit version. I guess that could do it too, huh? See, it's oh man, it is dropping a lot of frames. It's dropping like 3.5%. No, guys. So let's try closing Jigsaw for a second. No frame drops at all. So it must be the DTN. It must be that it can't all keep up. But does it really use? I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense, guys. Okay, so open it back up again. So I'm getting a drop there just because the window is opening. Okay.
Harry L says your thoughts on automation? Is it possible to program order flow strategies?
So you can certainly program some kinds of order flow strategies. I have been unable to program anything like John Grady's strategies, for instance. I have no clue how you program that. You know, like there's way too much discretion involved. Like when I look at it and I see a number that shouldn't be there, um, I can detect that programmatically. We have stuff actually that kind of notifies us. That's what this, where did it go? I minimized it. Not this market depth tape up here. This is something that I wrote to notify me of significant changes. So if somebody adds or stacks more than 500, it'll show me. But when it turns into the pattern, the whole pattern thing of like the way that it pulls or the way that they trade into it and stuff like that, it's like, how do you have to be able to quantify it, which is really hard. Okay, so now that I've opened that back up, I am definitely getting the hitches and everything. So I'm going to come in here to Jigsaw and I'm going to go into the options. And I have the throttle set at 10. And I'm going to change that to 100. Let's see if that changes anything. Oh, and there's the hitch right there. Hmm. Mm-hmm. There's that chart. I don't know.
Gary Rich says, well, good morning, TikTards. Have you jumped off the ledge yet? Lol.
What do you mean by jumped off the ledge? I'm having issues today because my regular data feed is not working today because AMP still hasn't made my funds available. Apparently they have to hold the check for 3 days. So I got an IQFeed demo, and now that I'm using the IQFeed demo, I'm getting rendering lag with OBS. So like when I look at this and I don't see like I'm not like completely maxing out my CPU, right? I'm only going 34%. So it doesn't really make sense. The GPU is not even doing that either. I'm using a lot of memory. I'm surprised that I'm using 9 gigabytes of data of memory. But even that shouldn't be such a big deal. I don't know why I'm getting so many frame rendering lag, but something is like interrupting processes and stuff. Mm-hmm. The issue that I have is, like all of the data coming in, that should be really taxing the processor more than anything, right? But the rendering lag is what's getting hit. The rendering lag is where it's an issue, and I'm just not seeing what's using it. Is it because Ninja Trader is spiking up here from time to time or something? Like, I don't know. Well, I haven't seen it happen very many times since I changed that thing up. So maybe it's gone. Or maybe my video card is just going bad. I don't know. I don't know. There it was right there. The hitch. The hitch. You know what I can do? I can disable the preview. That always helps. Okay. Disable the preview in OBS. We're still going over here, right? Yeah, we are. We are seeing liquidity come back into the 10-year. Maybe we start taking some trades over there. No. The E-mini is a little... I don't think that I can take it short here really yet. I mean, this 10-minute bar is red, but it's not far enough. There it is right there. Oh, I have these two windows open too. Okay, so I don't need that. Oh, and I still have Gmail open over on this window. Okay. Well, that might make a difference. That might do it. That might do it. Let's open this back up. Yeah. So for starters, Brave browser is down to 400 megabytes instead of 800. That's literally with one window open. Let me close that. One window. And Brave goes. Slack uses 100. Node uses 60? I don't know, but I'm still only like 50% of my memory. Shouldn't be a thing, right? Well, there was a little hitch just there. See a little bit of iceberging at 10. See, I see day trader is using the GPU, but it says it's only using 0% of it. I suppose I could also... Okay, let's try this. Let's go over to this minimal one. And we'll close the quant. Yeah, that was fine. I'll add the JT thing over here. Oops, not instrument, indicator. JT connection. Okay. So then let's just get rid of any window that I don't actually need. Don't actually need that. I'm just going to close all the charts so that it's only passing the data through. Okay, so now Ninja's literally not drawing anything. Just passing the data through. So we'll see if we still get the hitches.
Harry L says, did you switch from chart trading to order flow? Or was it always auction theory, order flow?
Well, so kind of my longer story is that I got interested in markets during the 2008 crisis. So during that time, I kind of did what was suggested. I was doing like 5 stocks and I was like actively managing them. And during the time period from October to January, using my kind of like, holding stuff for a week or a few, I like doubled my money. Sim, of course, but I was just doing it all on a spreadsheet. And I thought that was pretty good, and I got really interested in it. But I found very quickly that I was much better at determining which way the index was going to go than anything else. So it was around that time that I started to get interested in futures. But then I said, well, what I really want to do is markets. So I was graduating in computer science at that time. And I thought I was going to make video games, but I realized that the video game industry just kind of really sucks to work in. So I decided to go into finance. So I sent in a resume. I was like, well, who's a finance company? Well, everybody's talking about Goldman Sachs. They were like all in the news because they had exorbitant bonuses and everything like that. And I was like, well, hey, I want an exorbitant bonus. So I put in one resume to Goldman Sachs and forgot about it. And then like 2 months later, they called me up and said, hey, we're doing campus recruiting and we want you to come in. So I came in and I did the interviews. Oh my gosh, their interview process is like murder. And I did it for 2 groups too. So I was there like all day. It was so exhausting. And I think the only reason they really hired me was because I could explain to them what the options were. So so I did that and I got hired from them. Now when you work for Goldman, you can't do futures. Like they have such strict rules. It's real. I mean, it is honestly, it is so strict. So okay, so there's a little bit of some skipped frames right there. Maybe it is the 64-bit day trader or IQFeed. Well, I think that we safely eliminated Ninja Trader from the equation. So let's open all of my stuff back up. Anyways, so I would just watch the market and I would swing trade with a spreadsheet. But one day, when I lived in Salt Lake City, so I didn't really get the chance to talk to traders or have the opportunity to, because I really what I wanted to do was trading. But apparently, starting out in technology and then moving over to trading is very unlikely to happen. In fact, they kind of don't want that to happen because that's how the London whale happened, right? So, um, and we built a lot of stuff to prevent traders from doing things like the London whale. That was kind of what I was working on when I left. But eventually, Goldman had to retool stuff, so a really big section of our department got laid off, and I was going through a hard time anyways, and the team had kind of moved away from the things that I was good at anyways. So I think in the long run, it really was a better thing that I had gotten let go. But so when I got let go, then I was like, well, I want to trade. But when I was there, I had this one experience where I was in New York visiting, and somebody was having a problem with Ready, which is their platform that they provide to fund clients, right? So it has a DOM and all of those sorts of things, and there's kind of special features like you can queue up a bunch of actions by holding the control button, and when you let go of it, all of those actions will hit the market all at once. So they were having trouble with that key, and there was other people in Salt Lake that were like the Q&A for that. So they were asking me even though I knew nothing about it. But they explained it to me, and so I was able to ask some questions. And at that time, I had heard of the Node BS day trading course, and it interested me. And so I asked them about it, and they said, "Well, yeah, like the DOM is like literally all we use." Now, granted, we can see the institutional order flow, and so that makes things a little different. And I still look at things like the volume profile and stuff, but you should use a DOM. So when I got let go, I said, "Oh, okay, let's do some DOM trading." So that's when I started looking around. It was like in the summer of 2016. So when I've been like actively working on trading with like live data and everything like that, it's always been from the DOM. And we've been going on now for almost 4 years. But the first bit of that wasn't quite so serious, and I've gone through a lot of different things. I've had like I'll come up with a strategy and it works really, really well for like a quarter, and then it totally blows up. Um, and then I'll forget about it, which I probably shouldn't do, but like you can only focus on so much. So now we got this. Now we're working on this scalp thing. This has a really consistent track record. So, and we've been making money with this. So we've kind of been going with this, and I've been incorporating it into the rest of what I look at. So that's kind of my story. I've never been, when I first started, it was like, well, technical analysis works. But I learned very quickly when looking at this that your technical analysis in particular, like the chart patterns, like head and shoulders and stuff like that, does not work very well on a short time frame at all. The more quantitative technical analysis, like your moving averages and your standard deviation kind of stuff, there's a little bit more use to it, but I don't think that it gives you an edge over the rest of the market. It just kind of brings you up to par. Order flow can be a real edge if it's an environment favorable to you. Overall, I don't think I've ever met somebody that has shown me. I mean, I've seen people claim things, of course, but I don't think I've ever met anybody that explained their strategy to me and it proved that they were getting results that wasn't using volume as a significant component of their strategy. They might not even realize it, that how significant of a component it is, but they're always using it. Mm. Mm.
Gary Rich says nice story, sweetie pie.
Yeah, that's my story. So that's kind of what attracted me initially to order flow. So then I got the No BS course and I read it and I started doing it. And then at some point, Futures IO was doing a webinar, or they were doing a contest where they wanted you to record video. So I decided to do it. And they canceled the contest, but like a lot of people like subscribed to the channel and watched. And so I just kept doing it because it was useful. And then the Bitcoin futures went live and we started live streaming it. And we had a lot of people that first live stream. And it's kind of been, we've had ups and downs. I think it's kind of funny because the beginning of the year we were kind of in a down. And then it really picked up really fast. And then YouTube throttled us and is back down. We were getting like 50 viewers. We're getting like 25 viewers at any one time just from the front page. But then they decided to ban us from search results. So, whatever. Do you think that the 10-year is going to fall through here? I think that I could come in here and I could put a stop limit with like if it gets below 90 or something. Let's see if it will run a little bit for us. Look, somebody is absorbing. This is a little bit of a gamble in this particular situation, but okay, goes bid. I can hold a really tight stop on it too. Okay. E-mini looks like it's turning down. I actually could have taken a short in the E-mini. So that helps.
Harry L says cheers, thanks. Now, I have see you take, avoid trades and try to understand the mechanics. Red Army versus Blue Army.
Yeah, that Red Army versus Blue Army is such a good description of it. Okay. So they sold 1,300 into 10.5. He absorbed it. He bid it back up. He's stacking.
Gary Rich says, Seth, you've been trading for only 3 years?
I think it's only been, well, with like active live market data, yeah. Like futures trading with level 2 data, 3 years. Good uptick and good strong bid behind it. Maybe a little bit too strong. Yeah, okay. Cool. They might go for more, but I think that in that situation, that was all I was really looking for. So I'm really happy with that trade. That is my favorite trade, and I haven't gotten one like that in a while. Oh, no, I take that back. We were doing it a couple of days ago, weren't we? I'm still getting hitches. I don't know what the deal is.
Gary Rich says, okay, I apologize for hammering you at times. I get it now and it makes sense.
You're just saying I'm not as experienced as maybe I appear sometimes. Yeah, I don't know. Like when you look at me, I really think the issue that you're gonna find with me over and over and over again is that my ability to follow through with what I know to do is a much less than normal people. So I might know that this is a situation that I shouldn't trade, but when I'm in the moment, my mind's voice doesn't come in and say, "Oh wait, you said you wouldn't trade during this time," and I just go through on the instinct and I just do it, and then that's when I make the foolish mistakes, you know. It's just, it's kind of the ADHD thing. So I might, when people ask me questions, especially about like the platforms and the data and how all of that stuff works underneath, I know a lot about it. But then when it comes, sometimes in some situations, when it comes time to perform, I screw up. But I have just as much good times as bad times. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, so I took that at 10. I got out at 11. They did go through me. The thing that scared me out was this 1786. Even though that's not a lot, but at the time it scared me. And I'm thinking, like, for the try and hold that up to the high doesn't really make sense. Like, the signal was level break. To catch 2 ticks off of it like that, I think I did the right thing. They might even tick back down again, like this might have been where like I try and hold it and thinking that I can get 13 and it never goes, I don't know. And then I guess the other thing that I got going on is that, there's people watching. So I don't want to come in and say, oh, yeah, do X thing that works. Because then, I'm kind of, I'm giving people information that if they follow through on it and they don't do well, that's not good. So I don't want to come in and give you like ideas of, like, you can't come in and say this is profitable or this is profitable. All I can do is like suss out some stats and show you what the stats are and then let you figure it out yourself. So when you guys are talking and you're making recommendations or, if I can't present that data, then, there's a problem. There's a problem with it. And I can't just trust you, and because you might have a real edge, but it might not be where you think it is. It might not work for me. It might not work for everybody else that's viewing. So that's why I always have to be like super skeptical about everything. Because I'm sure that there's lots of bets and gambles that you can make that don't really make sense for me. I'm really trying to be like really low risk. So, So they did come back down and they hit quite a bit into 10.5, but he's absorbing it again. That would normally be good for a buy, but look, the E-mini is going back up to 2,500. They look like they want to buy it today. Yeah, almost 5% dropped frames. So I came in and I changed the level 2 update interval. Here in options, I changed that to 10. What if I do it like 1,000? Then that would be a second, right? Let's see if it does it. Well, that's not quite what's happening, is it? I don't think that does what I think it does. Maybe I need to change it in here. Like I think I have these set to like 7, update interval 10. Let's just extend those all.
Gary Rich says you should change your channel to Skeptical Seth, it makes more sense. I'm so funny on this foolish day.
Well, I do speculate. I mean, I speculate a lot, but I think that being skeptical is part of the speculation, right? I think the thing that sets my mind apart from other people that is maybe, oh, I have the update interval there set to 20 to 100. Let's set that to 20. 20. And then I'm going to come back in here to this options and what is the default for that actually? I'm going to open up a window. But anyways, the thing that I think kind of sets me apart from other people is my agreeableness is so low. I have absolutely no problem staking out a position and having everybody in the world thinking I'm wrong and sticking with it if I have information that backs up what I believe. And so much so to the point that I am extremely disagreeable even with myself. um, anytime that somebody comes in and makes a statement, I'm almost always thinking, well, okay, but here's the nuance with what you're saying. Here's where the thing that somebody might get from that comment that I'm concerned might be a little wrong and that they need to hear, always. Okay. Market depth throttle. This determines how often the application processes market depth changes. Note that if the inside bid or offer changes, this is processed immediately. A setting of 50 is recommended. Okay. We'll do 50. And I set the update interval to 20 for all these, so that should be half of what it was. I can see that the reader is dead now, so we close that. I need to fix that. Okay. So I'm still getting a lot of frames missed due to rendering lag. It used to be like literally none. And like I have jigs. Well, let's test one other thing. I think 20 milliseconds is good for that. Where did it go? Oh, it's over here. Moved it over here. I'm just gonna close Jigsaw. Got about 10 minutes here. So we'll just let this go for a bit. See if it's really Jigsaw. CPU usage is now 16%. Well, that's not what this says. This says that the CPU usage hasn't changed at all. That's really kind of weird, isn't it? So there was a few misframes. There's a few misframes. I was using the PATS methods. I'm not sure what that refers to. And you seeing if I could use order flow to get more accurate. Well, you can definitely. You use the order flow, it can really help. Like just what we were explaining the other day, like I'm kind of use these moving averages to kind of give me an idea of where the momentum is going. And when I look at the order flow, I should expect to see them doing certain things. Like when they break a level in the direction of the momentum, they should break it and hold it. When they break a level on the other side, there you might see a really fast move down and bounce back up really quickly. Yeah, it is giving me the frame drops. And if I close, no, well, what if I just disconnect IQFeed from Ninja Trader. And this right here. Oh, here's feed stats. What's that? There we go. 24 kilobytes per second. It's pulling a lot of data. I mean, that must have something to do with Ninja just not. See, now that I've disconnected Ninja, I haven't gotten any drops yet. And there's a window right here for IQFeed. It's not very responsive. Why is that? I connect back up again. The yellow, it's taking a while to reconnect it. Okay. See, what is with this? This is not. So close Ninja. Still not getting any frame drops, so it's definitely has something to do with the DTN. I don't even see the application anywhere in here. What's with that? What do you make of that, guys? Are you sending ticks or 1 minute from the JT connection? I think it just sends everything. I mean, there's not an option to select those, right? It's just, it's not the bridge itself. I mean, I was using the bridge before. It's something with IQFeed. Oh, so here's the iConnect application. Let's just kill it. So it disappears down there, yeah. Oh, look, there's a new NVIDIA update. So I'm gonna open it back up again. Okay. So we're still looking good here. So now I'm going to start the feed. And right away there, I see another 2 or 3 frames. Yeah. Oh no, actually that wasn't. That was just the other never changing. Pat's price action trading by Mac. Wait for setup. Second entries, failed entries, etc. No volume profile. Well, the price action is a really big part of order flow for sure, because you're kind of looking at price action and determining how quickly it responds to a certain spot in addition to the amount of volume traded there. 11,546. It's still constant. I don't understand. I better put myself to play League of Legends. This market is very boring. It's been an okay market, but it didn't really give us very many good trades today, did it? I caught that good trade in the 10-year, and we could have gotten a little bit more out of it, but look, it came back so quickly. They're watching and they're feeling bad and said, hey, let's throw Seth a bone today. That's what happened. I'll move this over to here. See, 11,570. 587. 604. It's like it's just like immediately dropping frames. Then I disconnect IQFeed. Nothing yet. Nothing yet. Now if I come in here, it's there. Oh, it disappeared. So probably that error that I had from before was because I disconnected NinjaTrader from it. And look, it stopped changing, and now I come back in my IQFeed. We're going to connect back up again. All my charts are loading back up. Or trying to update themselves, rather. Okay. So now we're going again. It's still 604. Foolish how literary of you, Gary Rich. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom, it was the age of foolishness. Yes. Or prescient, perhaps. I hope your day's going well. I like the ZB for a few ticks, but the drawdown is scary. Oh, yeah. I had a really... Okay, so there was a couple more. Now it's 625, right? I had some real problems when I was trading ZB, yeah. Configuration. Trader account verification. Usage report statistics. Data queue monitoring. What's this? Light threshold, the heavy threshold. Wonder what that's about. Here's apps. Wonder what their charts are like. I really hate that it doesn't just load the symbols, you have to know it. You have to exactly know it. Workspaces. Hmm. Well, we've been getting data, and I haven't been getting a ton of dropped frames. Like 625. Wish there was a way to. Oh, I can reset it. Let's reset it. That would be much better. There you go. 18 frames skip. Bothers me so much. So that is IQFeed. Well, that's a pretty significant problem, don't you think? I wonder if it will let me do a CQG through Continuum demo. I want to see what that one's. Oh, you know what? There was one thing there we never looked at. That would matter for the data feed. So let's just disconnect this. Reset. We're not really getting any drop frames now. We'll open up Jigsaw here. Move this down here. So I don't think it's Jigsaw. If it was thinking it was Jigsaw this whole time. It was definitely not Jigsaw, is it? Now, of course, the question, I guess, is then when I connect it directly over here in NinjaTrader when I connect directly to it and don't use the bridge, does it change? I'm going to guess that it doesn't. Okay. So connect to IQFeed. So as soon as I do that, there's a few missed frames, but nothing too bad. So over here, what I wanted to look at was here on IQFeed. Give me a ZN. Okay. So we're getting data directly from them. It seems a little bit different when it's not going through the bridge. I don't know. It's probably just all in my head. Still no skip frames. Let's switch them all over. Let's switch them all over and see. ZB. ZF. This one should be MES. ES. ES. Okay. So that's all running and it's going through okay. Hey, good morning, Ace. How are you? I was wondering if you were going to stop by. I was having issues with my data feed because AMP hasn't processed my check yet. Well, they've gotten it, but it takes 5 days. So we're trying out some new data feeds, and this is IQFeed. But I'm having some issues with it. NinjaTrader doesn't seem to like it. Jigsaw is doing just fine. AMP is so dang slow, right? Well, apparently when they get a check, they have to hold it for 5 days. And they got it like 2 days ago. So like on the 30th. So depending on which day counts, 5 days, maybe it'll be available Friday, but probably Monday. And then the thing was, though, was like I was getting data, and then it just all of a sudden stopped. I didn't get any emails from them. Like if I just come in here and search for AMP, I don't. The last email that I get was, oh crap, my freaking laptop is. Sometimes it will switch me over to my laptop. Yeah, last one that I get was the check deposit. Oh, and the history plant violation, but that's something else. That was a problem in Jigsaw, and they fixed it. Yeah. Oh, so weird. And yeah, I have all of these loaded. Oh wait, I'm not. It's data stopped for a second. But even when the data stopped there, I'm not getting any frames missed due to rendering lag. It's only when NinjaTrader is connected to IQFeed. So very interesting. Is there something that I'm doing in Ninja that IQFeed just can't handle? Do I have too many charts? No. Because when I closed it down and it was just passing the data through the bridge, it was having a problem. But I think even when I closed down NinjaTrader and there wasn't the bridge, it was having problems. So, well, I suppose it could still have to do with the bridge. Oh, we're going to do some things to rule out the bridge. They just do what they want to do. I get it. I'm small potatoes, so I don't really complain. When are they ever going to change the margins back ever? Well, they did change it a little bit. Or my charts are in the future amp cut in half. Seth loves techie stuff like a millennial, but mails checks like a boomer, right? $30 for a. I didn't want to do it. That's like 2 whole ticks, dude. In ZN. This is so weird. Okay, focus, Seth. We only got like 15 minutes left. Can I see spreads? Not maybe. No, I don't think so. If I come in here to download instruments and I just do CBOT and I only do spreads, download, does it even grab anything? Oh, it is grabbing some. Plus, it helps the check printing companies and the post office feels wanted. I don't understand why it's not going to be like that forever. Okay, it did download spreads. Wait, what happened to the one that I guess I closed it. Spread. Okay. Let's see here. CME exchange traded spreads. Key benefits, product information, stirs, treasuries. CME Globex code is knob. Should be able to come in here and type knob. Nothing. Futures. Knob. No. It's pulling them down, but for some reason I'm not seeing them. Let's just search IQFeed knob spread. At knob. And it's weird. Okay, so that doesn't work. Okay, so next question. If I close the quant workspace in NinjaTrader and I go over to this one, yeah. Oh, I did save it. And all I have is a market analyzer up, but I'm gonna get rid of the JT connection. Okay. Well, actually, no. Let's just go back and prove that it works, that it's a problem. So with all this, 3. Okay. Now I'm going to close Jigsaw, and I'm going to connect NinjaTrader to it. My favorite April Fool's prank that I only read about is if you can get access to a friend or coworker's phone, just launch the website iPhoneception on their browser. Okay. So if this is your better hide the rabbit, someone might want to jack him for dinner. Corona warning shelves are empty. You know what? They took the rabbit outside the other day, and she really enjoyed herself. I hear she didn't run around or anything. She just kind of hopped around the yard and sniffed at things. They've been letting the chickens out every day too, and apparently they've been having a ball. Okay, so that's interesting. Have my IQFeed. The only thing open. Before, when I had all the stuff open, it was okay. Actually, I had the Quan one open, right? So I had those 3. We'll just reset it here. Stephen Miller is a reptilian, one of the lizard people. His archetype is the snake, the serpent, the reptile, gasp, imputing the integrity of the ferret, the mink, or the weasel. Oh, geez. Okay, well, it's not giving me any rendering lag with this either. It was a fluke of some sort, man. Now I'm really confused. Now I'm really confused. Okay, man. I'll bring this down here. And it's not I haven't gotten any events here, so that I don't know if it's that, but we'll open back up Jigsaw. Messing with Grandpa and his pancakes is a big no. Oh. I didn't know. My grandpa on my mom's side lived in Canada, so we didn't see them all that often. And I never knew my grandpa on my dad's side. He died when I was like 1. And Jigsaw's still loading. I'm wondering if it was IQFeed and everything, but that restarting everything kind of fixed whatever the issue was. I did start Jigsaw right. I think it's just like taking forever to load up sometimes because you got that database thing. Oh look, I just dropped a ton of frames right there. That's not even showing up over here yet. I did click it, right? You saw that, right? I don't know. My grandpa was fond of cooking. He would also harvest ice in the winter, haul it to town with a team of horses, and sell it in the summer. If you ever watch Frozen, they do it. Really? Huh. Why is Jigsaw not starting? Saw a little window pop up. Okay, now it's starting. I guess I didn't actually start it last time. So you'll definitely get some dropped frames as I'm loading everything back up again. Okay. Reset. Now I'm getting dropped frames pretty consistently, I would say. 41, 58, 71. So now if I close this market analyzer and I close this other workspace. Okay. Reset. Still getting it. Still getting it. So I have definitely stopped the bridge. So it is not the bridge. But it's interesting that it didn't really start happening until I had Jigsaw open. So now you're getting it. It's almost 10% dropped frames, in fact. 168. Like, what the heck? But then if I disconnect IQFeed, reset, it's fine. So, Jigsaw by itself, okay. Ninja by itself, it seems like it's okay, but then when I have everything open and I'm running IQFeed, the bridge doesn't seem to make a difference. But turning on and off IQFeed seems to make a difference. But if I don't use NinjaTrader and I just use Jigsaw, which I guess is maybe what we're going to do for the next few days. Man, it's so weird. So weird, guys. Is it something with IQFeed specifically, though? I don't know. Well, I'm going to try and get a CQG demo and see. I don't know if I want to use CQG or Rhythmic. But it's getting close. This is like 9:20, so I think it's about time to go. So thanks for stopping in, Ace. I took a one trade in the 10-year, but I guess there was a couple of trades in the ES, but overall I wasn't incredibly impressed with the action today. Like off of the open, it was really messy, and maybe I would have felt differently if I had taken them and made money off of it. But okay, well, hope you enjoyed in that. There's some interesting information we gathered today. So I will see you guys tomorrow, and in the meantime, stay profitable.